Charlie Powell here on Capital Dance, and I'm very excited and honoured to be joined in the studio by the one and only Fat Tony as we celebrate Pride all month long on the show. Welcome, Fat Tony.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm really good, you know. Yeah, I'm good.
Good. So we've asked you to pick 10 tunes today, which we'll get into over the next 4 hours or so. How difficult was it to pick these tunes? Because I hate that question personally, because there's too many bangers that I love.
You know, for me, it's yeah, exactly the same. It's like, oh, what, yeah, should I put that in? Should I not put that in? And also, I tried, because I do quite a few of these things, so I try not to put the same tracks into things. Do you get what I mean? And also, but it's really hard not to get into that headspace. People thinking, oh, people are going to think you're cheesy if you put that in. Do you get what I mean? But I don't really care what people think.
No, exactly.
Got this far in life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was kind of hard.
First pick is by Byron Stingley, Devoted. Is this the version, the recent Martin Ikin version, or the original?
Oh, this is the recent.
The recent one, 2021. Okay, so what's the story behind this one? Why have you chosen it?
The actual original Devotion was such an iconic, like, early house track. You know, it really conjured up the latter part of acid house days. So for me, when Byron covered it, it was just like, it just was one of those magical moments. And it still just makes my hair stand on end every time I play it.
Yeah.
And it has the ability to lift any dance floor, which is...
Still, as well. It's such an iconic vocal.
Totally, and it's one of those kind of just off the beaten track of house classics.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. 10 out of 10. Fat Tony, your second pick is George Michael, Freedom, iconic, powerful tune. 1990, right?
Yeah.
What's the story behind this one? Does this kind of take you back to a particular time in your life?
You know what? It takes me back to so many times in my life. Because I'm a real George Michael fan, and you know, he used to be a really good friend of mine, and he still is in many ways, because he's still, when you meet someone that has that power over you to change your life, because he helped change my life in many ways, he'll always be with you, and but this track, just everything about this track, what it stands for, the video with all the girls in it, you know, it just... It's more relevant now than it's ever been, and in so many ways, because freedom is what this world really needs right now on so many levels. And because, you know, without getting political, we're going backwards.
Of course, yeah,
we're going backwards in so many ways, and you know, and what's going on in other areas of the world, you know, because people are taking away other people's freedom. So this song is a very important song. We do a thing called Full Fat, and we play
I was going to ask about this.
We play it as the last track every week.
Do you?
Yeah, and people wait for it because they know it's coming, and you know, it just every time I listen to it or play it, it makes my hair stand on end. Yeah.
Have you got a Full Fat happening this Pride?
We're not this Pride. No, we're doing it in July. We're doing it July 28th for 338 Studio 338 in London.
Yes.
And you know, it's that whole brand of what we do with Full Fat is about freedom. It's about coming out and enjoying yourselves, and there's never a bad moment with it, because it's just about happiness, and that's what freedom is. It's happiness.
100%. Fat Tony, your third pick this afternoon is Tasha LaRae, DJ Spen, Wish I Didn't Miss You. One of my favourites too, this one. Makes me want to cry every time. It's so, like, powerful. Great rework of the original, this one.
Yeah, the Angie Stone mix version,
Yeah. What's the story behind this one, Why?
It's you know, I love the Angie Stone version of it. I mean, it's been one of my all-time favourite tracks. But this version is just, I love dropping this in the middle of a set, because I like to take people on a roller coaster, and I like, you know, this isn't a track that always gets everyone's emotions, like you just said. It makes you want to cry, and when you drop it in the middle of a set and it comes in within the first 4 bars, everyone knows straight away what it is, and they just go for it, and they all sing along to it, because it's such an amazing track. And for me, every time I play it, there's so many things that I miss and so many people that I miss, and I play it for them. Every time.
Can you pinpoint?
You know, I have tattoos on my hands of people's names, and I always kiss them whenever I put this track on.
That's amazing.
Because for me, it's a moment.
Yeah.
Like all good tracks are moments, you know.
And they're timeless as well.
Yeah, they are, because, you know, you know, I have this theory in life that some people listen to music and some people feel music. And when you feel music, you can't help but want to cry. You can't help but want to dance. You can't help but want to scream with happiness, you know, because that's what you're feeling.
For sure, for sure. Okay, we're into track 4 now. Excited about this one. Pete Heller, Big Love. Still hearing this all the time. Glitterbox record, right?
Yeah, you know, it was pre-outdates Glitterbox. It's much before Glitterbox. You're obviously new to this, Charlie.
No, I'm not that new. I'm still learning.
But you know what? This
is why you're here, to educate.
It's another classic. It's a classic. And, you know, the reason it's been resurged is because most DJs that play at Glitterbox is because... It's one of those tracks that I call them pegging tracks that you put on, you know exactly what's going to happen. When that break comes in and you get those piano chords, that's it. You know exactly what's going to happen in the room. The whole room erupts, and it just takes it. It's an uplifting track, and again, it's one of those things that means so much because there's so many great memories attached to it.
Could you think of any in particular?
Oh, dancing in so many dirty, muddy fields.
Yes.
Hiding from police and all of those things in the early house days that we had to do to get to this point of having Capital Dance. Basically, you know, all that stuff that preceded this, went before, and all of that other stuff. It was just these records that we're choosing today kind of are testament to that. Yeah,
for sure. It was all underground, wasn't it?
Oh, 100%. And you know, it's songs like Pete Heller, Big Love, that made that time so iconic.
For sure, and it still goes off.
Yeah, 100%.
I play this one and I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean?
She still thinks it's Glitterbox.
Yes.
But that's good, because the fact that you think it's Glitterbox is an amazing thing for Glitterbox, right?
Yeah, it's great, but I need to educate myself a little bit more.
Well, you know, there's how many amazing dance tracks are there in the world? You can't know them all, right?
Yeah, well, there we go. Now I know. Before we get into your next selection, I just want to talk a bit about your kind of journey within queer spaces in dance music over the years, because you've been obviously a fundamental part of it all. Wouldn't be the same without you. And how have you kind of seen the queer dance scene like kind of change over the years? Is it better now? Is it different? Because obviously we've got like Mighty Hoopla, we've got your own parties, body movements, we've got some good stuff, but yeah, was it better? Is it better now?
I hate when people go, oh, it used to be so much better, I don't go out anymore, it's not the same. Thank God it's not the same. You know, things change all the time, and that's why it keeps it exciting.
I love that.
And you know, the excitement comes from change. Can you imagine going to the same club for the last 30 years, same records, the same... It just wouldn't happen. And I think the evolution of dance music... You know, it started with our community and it'll end with our community.
For sure.
And that's the way it is. You know, I'm working with Irvin Welsh at the moment. He's doing an adaptation of my book, film adaptation, and he's writing that. And he literally came out with a comment the other day saying that when the gay scene farted, the straight scene stood up and listened. and because we're focusing in the film in 85 to 95, which was like the most, for London, it was the AIDS epidemic and it was pre-acid house. The music that we're focusing on is gay high energy, that whole... prelude to acid house and house music, and those are electronic tracks that were so important and still are so important. And I think that, you know, with the sampling in the world that we live in, and everyone kind of knows those tracks, but they don't know those tracks. They don't know the names of those tracks. So what they do know is, like, they either know a sample from it. Oh my God, this is that. You know, oh, this is the first. You know, and I think that's a really good thing. But you know, I just think sometimes take time out, sit down and look into it. Look into those, because there's so many amazing moments in club culture and in dance music that has changed the way that we see dance music. You know,
a lot of that comes from the queer community.
Of course,
right?
You know, back in the day we had everyone talks about all the amazing gay clubs around the world, you know, like Paradise Garage and all of those things. And house music comes from, you know, the LGBT community had a lot to do with all of that, because, you know, Paradise Garage was a gay club.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get quite a lot of straight people that tell you it wasn't. That never went, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, the thing about it is you know, throughout time, they've had all these amazing things. And the clubs that you just mentioned, you know, like Mighty Hoopla Festival, that amount of people at a festival, primarily all about dance music, is insane. And, you know, as I say, we do live in troubled times, and music's one thing that can bring us all together. And we need to remember that.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the stat, but we've got so many like closures and stuff like that, and I just feel like people we'll just do it legally if everywhere's closed. Do you know
There's
what I mean?
236 venues shutting down every week in London alone.
Mental.
That's in the nighttime industry. And that's because people aren't supporting, aren't going out. The younger generation, the new generation, aren't into drinking. So bars are shutting down very fast. But, you know, I think it's for all of us, it's just to get out every now and then and support your local clubs and support your local events. Look what's going on around you. You know, avoid the mass corporation places and go make it underground. Go to body movements. Yeah. Go to your Dalston superstores. Go to all of these independently run venues that are really struggling. You know, but you got to remember, it's like everything. It's a cycle. Things grow, they become really big, and they become really beautiful. They blossom, and then they die. And then what happens is the seeds of that go back in, and they start off really small again. So we're at that place again where things are starting to die off, and new things are coming. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, I love that positivity about it, because there is a lot of kind of bitterness about kind of what's happening in the dance music scene at the moment. So yeah, I like that. I mean, that.
I'm back in the studio working with a couple of queer artists, and I'm working with the defected lot as well.
Wicked.
that aren't queer artists. But you know, the thing about it is I'm doing so many different areas and bringing my queerness to all of that. Because I don't give. I was going to say something else.
You can swear.
But I don't give a flying about what people think about my sexuality or anything, because that's not going to change who I am.
No.
That's going to, you know, your opinion you can keep, because I'm not interested in it.
Exactly.
But, you know, when it comes to dance music, just know where this stuff come from. You know, I love it when people get all homophobic in clubs and they're standing there dancing. Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
It's like, please.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're dancing to?
Yeah,
Do you know what this song represents?
Yeah. Well, this is why it's important that, you know, we do this.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, there's a prime example of it. This guy on the plane was going on about trans and how disgusting they were. And I said to him, what are you on about? And then 10 minutes later, he was sitting behind me, he's going on about going to see Honey Dijon. And I was just like, what? And I turned around and said, are you for real?
Yeah.
And literally, what he was like, he wanted to fight me. I said, you're going to see Honey Dijon, but yet you'll see what you just said 10 minutes ago. You know, you're going on about how disgusting, but yet you're paying money. It's where's your head at?
Yeah. Okay, Mary J. Blige, No More Drama.
Oh, the song of my life.
Yeah, this tune has helped a lot of people through really tricky times. You as well? Yeah,
majorly. You know, so towards the end of my addiction, which lasted 28 years, the last 2 years of it, I spent every day thinking about my funeral and what was going to happen at the funeral. And, you know, it was kind of getting towards the end of the road, you know, and I would listen to Mary J. Blige on loop all day long. Literally, it was going to be the song that I was burnt to. The curtains were going to shut, and No More Drama was going to play. And it always makes me emotional thinking about it, because it was one of those tracks that really changed my life. The words to it meant everything. And then obviously, I didn't die. I went and got clean, and, you know, spent nearly a year out of being away from everyone, just so I could recuperate and become who I wanted to be and find myself. And then about 6 months after that, I went off to Cannes to DJ for Naomi Campbell for a birthday party.
As you do.
Yeah, when you get clean. These are the joys of recovery. And Mary Jane was playing. She was singing.
No way.
I went, and Naomi said, Tony needs to talk to you. And I was like, what? And she went, you need to talk to Mary Jane. And I was like, about what? And she was like, you know what? And I went and spoke to Mary Jane and I told her the story. And she started to cry. She stood in front of me, she started crying. She was like, and I showed her the pictures and she was like, that person's not you. This person standing in front of me is who you're meant to be. And it was just one of those moments that just was so life-affirming that really made me realise that I was doing the right thing.
Wow. Yeah,
You know, when you get clean, you struggle with so much more. It's not about just drink and drugs. It's about the life choices, the life changes, and suddenly finding yourself in a life that is life.
Yeah.
Because what we had before was a survival, and I made things work as the best I could. Suddenly being thrown into the real world where you have to pay tax and you have to be you have to be responsible and all these things it's a big thing.
For sure.
And Mary Jane kind of cemented that for me that night, and then I went on to play for it many times.
Amazing.
But you know, this song is one of those songs that every time I hear it, it just makes me feel so happy to be alive.
Oh,
it really does.
Fat Tony, your next pick is Soldiers of Twilight, Believe. Why have you chosen this tune to play today?
Like the last song, you know, this was a song that was meant so much to me in those dark days and those dark years. And the words to this song really changed my life because it was, look, my hairs are stood on end.
Oh, they are.
It's one of those songs that just lyrically, it couldn't be better. You know, it says, if we believe we're halfway there. And I finished my book that came out last year with that one line, because it's true. It's the minute we start to believe in anything, it's the minute that life changes. And it just, you know, when you listen to a song, you think this is written for me. You know, whether it be My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard, or whether it be a song like Soldiers of Twilight, you know, the lyrics was just so meaningful and just so poignant. And I listened to it every day and it would make me cry because I knew there was a part of me that wanted to change, but I just didn't know how. And I was so far gone that it was easier to take the coward way out than actually to go and soldier through. And, you know, and so the words to this song changed everything for me.
Wow. Wow. And your book, obviously, you probably delve a lot deeper into your journey from start to now, right?
Yeah, it's all in there. I don't take requests, and it's... it's you know, when you write a book and you start the process of writing a book, it turns out to be a totally different book by the end of it. Because I suddenly got this point halfway through where I thought, I need to scrap this because it's not honest.
Wow.
And then we went back and rewrote the whole thing. So it took 2.5 years because I just thought, no, I just need to be completely honest with stuff. But when you don't know what was a lie and what wasn't.
Yeah, I guess when you write,
it's a process. And in that book, there were so many things that I felt I dealt with. And when I went to write it and talk about it, hadn't even touched the sides. So then I had to go off and get therapy. I had to have trauma therapy. I had to have so many different things just to deal with that. Because it's not a book about, it's not a fairy tale, it's not the Gruffalo.
It's the real thing.
It's the real thing, and there's a lot of graphic detail in there that I go into because it needed to be said. Yeah, but it's changed my life. The book has changed my life in so many ways. Yeah. If you told me like 40 years ago, the minute you get honest to be the minute you find freedom, I would have laughed in your face. Yeah. But you know, I don't have any skeletons. I don't have any secrets. You know, literally don't have any secrets apart from, you know, what I had for lunch yesterday. I'm not meant to be having sugar. But that's kind of the level of it, you know. And there's been such a real freedom that's come from that. Yeah, it's amazing.
Tony, your life and career has been very colourful. You've overcome addiction. You've DJ'd for some of the biggest stars in the world. You've written a book. I mean, I'd be here all day if I carried on listing your... there's a film coming. What's kind of been some of your career highlights to date?
I love this question always because for me, it's not happened yet.
Oh, wow. Love that.
That's the way I live my life. You know, I've had so many amazing pinch me moments. I continue to have them weekly. You know, this weekend I played main floor at Pasha, did Mambo before. You know, they're pinch me moments. They don't happen to people like me. That's the way, you know, my thinking is. So when every weekend there's something more amazing that happens. It's not about the big stuff. It's about the small stuff as well. It's about just
enjoying the journey.
Honestly, it really is. And, you know, for me, I always think, okay, what's next? You know, and I'm a very yet person. You know, it hasn't happened yet.
Best way to live, I think.
Yeah.
So, Fat Tony, your next pick, song number 7, Robin S, Show Me Love. Everybody knows it. Uplifting, feel good, big gay banger as well. Why is this one on your list?
It's on my list because everyone loves to think this is one of the cheesiest tracks out there when you play it. But you know what? It is. It's a masterpiece. And that's why it stood the test of time. And, you know, it's one of those things that you can be you're one of the most coolest DJs in the world, and you put this on, it makes you even cooler, trust me. It really does. You know, there'd be people sitting at home going, oh, my God, it's Robin S, Show Me Love. How many more times can you hear it? In my eyes, you can't hear it enough.
No, and when you're in the dance, it's very different as well. Like
Listen, you know, it's how you play it and when you play it, when you choose your moments. As a DJ, you don't sit at home and do a playlist. You read the room, you read the magic, and you feel the energy. And if Robin S needs to be aired at that moment, you air it at that moment. And I guarantee you, 100%, everyone will leave that room remembering that you played it at that point. And not one person will think, oh my God, he played that cheesy track. Because it's how you do it. That's the magic of our jobs.
Yeah. That's what makes a good DJ, right?
And this track deserves to be in everybody's top 10.
Tony, your next pick is Kings of Tomorrow. Finally, why is this one made it on your list?
Why wouldn't it make it on my list? You know, it's another one of those tracks that is a masterpiece within itself, and every time you hear it, it transports you to a place of joy. It's, you know, it should be another one like Robin S should be on everyone's list because it's such a classic on every sense. And, you know, I'm gonna have a sing it at my wedding as well. Which it's got to be played at the wedding. It's got to be sung at the wedding, you know. It's an amazing track. And yet again, the words, you know, when that one line when it's you don't know what I've been through, it's just like every
powerful.
time. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a powerful song and it means so many different things to so many different people. And that is the beauty of music.
100%.
That's why it deserves to be in my top 10.
Okay, Fat Tony, your next pick is The Vision featuring Andrea Triana, Mountains. This is the Dave Lee remix specifically. I was going to say it's a quality defected release, but it's probably goes way before that.
You're actually spot on for once, Charlie.
God, that's good. I've got there.
You know, this track came out at the end of lockdown, like the remix of it. And we weren't allowed to sing and we weren't allowed to dance when this came out. And we started doing these sit-down parties in the afternoon because we had a curfie. So
I remember those sit-down.
So we started doing them in literally around the corner from here at a place called Century in Shaftesbury Avenue. And this track was just after everything we'd been through, was one of those moments that it was everything that I've been waiting for. It was just joyous, it was uplifting, it was happiness. And yet again, the lyrics meant so much from, you know, whatever you think about those times, you know, COVID or what went on, you know, the theories and everybody has an opinion on it. We went through hell.
Yeah, we did.
We went, you know, but also at the same time, there was something really amazing that came out of it. No, don't get me wrong. I know people lost loved ones, and a lot of people lost their professions and everything else. But what came out of it was the fact that we took time out of this crazy world, and it allowed us to come out and look back in on it and see where we were going wrong. And this song, when this came out, it just changed everything. It gave me that purpose of like, we're doing the right thing here.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, for me, during COVID, I didn't feel anxiety for once in my life. Like, because everyone was just forced to stop.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't any kind of, you know, I'm not working hard enough, I'm not doing this, not doing that, you know, because everybody was chill. But it was nice to find kind of the joyous moments in those times, and music was still a massive part of it.
Yeah,
like,
I was doing it from
streams.
my garden.
Yeah.
I was live streaming from my garden for like I did the Beckham's party. Worked for everyone from Selfridges. I was earning money out of my back garden.
Yeah.
And I thought,
your back garden's wicked as well. I think I've seen it in an interview. It's like you know, like jungle.
Yeah, it's very tropical. Yeah, to say the least. And you know, it was just we made things happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We made the best of a bad situation to the best we could.
And we didn't stop the dance.
No, and why should we? You know, it's our God-given right to dance. It's in all of us. It releases endorphins that nothing else can, and just that connection to music. Music's the best drug in the world.
100%.
And when we connect to it, you don't need anything else.
Yeah.
You know, except for being allowed to dance or allowed to sing along.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've moved on from that.
We have. What does pride mean to you?
You know, it's a difficult one because people go, oh, why do we still have pride? Why do you feel the need to have pride? While people are still reading publications, whose names I won't mention, online and stuff like that, we'll always need pride. The fact that I'm getting married next year and it's going to be, I'm making such a big thing out of it, is because, not because it's because we've had to fight for that right.
You almost overcompensate. That's
100%. And you know what? I've spent my life trying to overcompensate because we've been tolerated. And do you know what? Tolerance isn't enough. We need to be accepting. It's about acceptance.
Yeah, rather than just being able to exist.
Pride is more important now than it's ever been because it's. Yeah, we've turned it into a great big joyous celebration, which is what it should be. Everything should be celebrated in those sense. But the fact of it is it's so important to be visual and be that seen, because we need to be seen. And we need to say, okay, this is our community, and look how widespread our community is. So I think we should have at least 3 or 4 prides a year, if you ask me.
Yeah,
and
100%.
a month isn't long enough. For me, I celebrate my life every day. I am who I am, and without turning it into a song. You know, for me, as I say, take me or leave me. But you know what? Keep your opinion to yourself.
Yeah. Where can people come to your... So you've got Ministry of Pride?
Ministry of Pride on Pride Night at the Ministry of Sound. Yeah, it's a completely queer run, queer DJ. Everyone that works on it is from our community. We give back to our community. We are very, very proud patrons of... I'm working with Not a Phase, the trans charity amongst one. And we basically... I've been doing it now for 4 years, and it's one of the biggest parties of Pride because it's a real queer celebration, but it's also a real dance music event. Yeah. We go underground with it. We have different rooms catering for different vibes. And everyone that works on it, as I say, is from our community. We give back to our community by doing it. And it's been great working with Ministry of Sound because we're kind of one of their only gay events now. Because
back in the day it was,
it
has changed.
But things, that's the world we live in right now. We are in a crisis of many sorts.
For sure. Okay, Fat Tony, your final pick is Nana Cherry, Buffalo Stance. Why have you picked this tune?
Because it comes from an era when we were losing everyone in our community. It was around... the late 80s, 90s. And Nana did Buffalo Stance. And when it came out, we were in the middle of the AIDS crisis. And, everyone around us was disappearing very fast. And this track just is testament to that time. It's just like, Nana worked with a guy called Ray Petrie, who was like a fashion stylist who did all the covers of the Face magazine. And Ray was one of one of the many people that in London that didn't make it and died of AIDS. And, when this track came out, we were all kind of like grieving and missing so much. And this track kind of filled a void with so many things. And it just means so much to me.
So brightened a really, I guess, really, really difficult time.
Yeah, and you know what? Nana Cherry needs to be celebrated because Nana's a really big ally of our community. And, it's not about going on marches. It's not about being that visual around stuff. It's about what you do behind closed doors. That kind of, you know, because it always makes me laugh when I see people doing charity on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like, hang on, what? That's not charity.
Are you really doing it?
Are you actually helping
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, look at me giving out food to the homeless.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
You know, as George Michael once said, charity's a coat we wear twice a year.
Yeah.
And you know, Nano's one of these allies that's always been there, and whether it comes to Judy Blame or Ray Petrie or any of these amazing members and pinnacle points of our community that are no longer with us, Nano is a part of that, and she still is a part of it. And I just think that Buffalo Stance is just one of those tracks that everybody yet again has got their own idea of.
Yeah. Fat Tony, thank you so much for joining me today. I've had the best time. Have you enjoyed yourself?
I've loved it. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully see you again soon.
Oh, you'll see me again.
Good.